NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with me today is Carlos Clanton, the Executive Director of the Norfolk Education Foundation. Welcome, Carlos, to NPS Now.
Great. Thanks for having me, Karen.
It's always great to have you on the show, and there's certain times of the year that we bring you on the show because you have certain things going on, and you get ready to have a TIE Awards, the Norfolk Education Foundation's Together in Education Awards. That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, and then we've added some more words to it this year. Yeah, it is that time. It's actually our 9th annual Together in Education and Distinguished Alumni Awards Gala this year. So we have a brand new component that we're very excited to be able to expose some of the wonderful work that many of our alumni are doing and have been very successful in our community.
So tell us when this event's going to happen.
It's going to be on Wednesday, October the 28th, and we're going to be at the Norfolk Waterside Marriott. And as we've done in years past, it'll start at 5:30 with a reception where we'll get a chance to meet and greet and network with individuals, and then the program itself will start at 6:30 p.m.
So you added a new component. What exactly is that?
Well, one of the things that we have been trying to strive to do with the foundation is really aligning things with the strategic plan of the school district. And so one of those items is to highlight our alumni. When you think about Norfolk Public Schools, it is the oldest public school district in the Commonwealth. And so we have a lot of individuals to pull from who are out there doing some great things. And so we wanted to what better way really to be able to honor these individuals and to showcase what we consider mission possible moments of individuals who've come out of Norfolk Public Schools who are doing some great things in business and industry and within their communities.
So who are some of the honorees?
Some of these individuals are, no strangers. So we have State Senator Kenny Alexander, who came out of Lake Taylor High School. We also have Boo Tui. She's the president of Capital Concrete, which is a family-owned business, and she came out of Maury High School. You have Dr. Keith Newby, who's everyone knows in this area here
as
one of the family
really ingrained in the Norfolk area.
And his sister has been a very strong part of the foundation as one of our board members for a long time with Dr. Cassandra Newby Alexander. But Regina Mobley with WVEC News 13. She came out of Granby High School, and some folks may have never known that. But then you also look at Robert Nussbaum, who has really, when you think about the Nussbaum and the Nussbaum family, also came out of Norfolk Public Schools. And then you look at Chuck Wigney, who is our Director of Development, who also came out of Lake Taylor High School. So it's going to be lastly, you also have Ulysses Turner, former chairman of the school board here, and whose son I actually had the honor of Jared and myself went to school together. So it's really a community affair, and being able to show the connection of really the strong bond that it takes a community to really help our students to be successful, but also just to showcase that we have individuals who are doing some really great things here in our community and abroad.
What do you think this honor means to them?
We've had a lot of individuals when they've been notified about it. Some people are like, wow. But you really think about it, I'm not too far off, about almost 20 years now since I've graduated from high school, and you think about going through school, you always imagine what will be. And so to be an individual who's being recognized as a distinguished alum gives you that opportunity to kind of look back and think about where you've come from. Some of these individuals have overcome some great challenges and obstacles in their lives, and now they're doing great things in the community. But many of them will attest that if it wasn't for the strong foundation that they received from their teachers and the great guidance that they received in public education here in Norfolk Public Schools, they wouldn't be the people they are today.
Exactly. So someone watching the show and know some of those alumni, or may say, there is somebody I think is deserving of this award. How could they nominate someone? So
we're going to, in January, we'll open up new nominations for next year. And individuals will be able to submit those names in, and we'll keep the nomination period open for about 60 days. And then after that, we have a committee that actually reviews them and looks at what we're looking for that particular year. And once an individual's name has been nominated, they'll stay on the roll for 10 years. And so that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure. So we have a lot of folks to kind of pick and choose from.
So is there a phone number, website, or email address that they can reach out to you?
Anyone can always call the foundation at 628-1172, and then you can always email or go to the foundation's website at norfolk8found.org.
And this event is like a stellar event. It's like the showcase, the event of all events for the foundation. So you also, with this new component, you used to have something else involved along with the tie awards. So what else is going to be happening that night in addition to recognizing the distinguished alumni?
Well, as a foundation, as you would imagine, it's a fundraising opportunity. So when we think about this, a lot of the work that we do in helping to raise funds to support innovative classroom projects and some of the new things that we're expanding with our A to Z fund, the funds that we generate from that, as well as from our silent auction. And really, it's not, I guess, in some respect, a silent auction this year because it's all online. We are moving to mobile bidding and online bidding. So anyone, they don't have to be here at the event that night, can get online and can use their phones to actually bid. And so we have over 70 items right now, and things are still coming in to this date to help generate funds that are going to be able to support our students. So, you know, it's a great fun, you know, and you think about a gala, some people say, oh, it's going to sit there and it's going to be stuffy.
But you can participate from home.
You can participate from home. And the thing about it is that we see our students, they're the strollers, the All City Jazz Band. We've been different things and components there. And the most exciting piece of this here is that this is really leading us into the 10-year anniversary of the Norfolk Education Foundation and being a partner with Norfolk Public Schools to support the great things that we're doing here in our community.
What are some of the auction items?
We've got everything for some cruises. We've got Broadway tickets to go see Ragtime. We've got the opera, La Boheme. We've got some getaway staycations. Our partners at the Marriott and the Sheraton have given us overnight stays. You know, you've got even some shopping sprees. So there's some great things out of there, and they're all price point at, you know, some things starting at $12. There's some things as high as $6,000.
Wow.
But, you know, it kind of meets everybody where they are.
Okay, so if they want to know more about the auction and the awards, they can go to the foundation website.
They can go to the foundation's website. They can look us up online on Facebook at Norfolk 8 Foundation as well. We're starting the promotion. It's all on. And it's just going to be a great opportunity for the community to get engaged and involved. As you know, you heard when we started the school year, you know, hashtag #IamNPS. Use that hashtag and you can find that information because really it is about the community that we all are Norfolk Public Schools, and we all have a part and a stake in making sure that our students are successful.
This is great, and I'm looking forward to the exciting night on the 28th.
It's going to be a great night, and so you know, we're just looking for everyone to come out, and we're looking for a great story. You know, even to come out here from our partners here in Channel 47. So.
And I hope they go online and contribute to the auction.
Contribute to the auction. If you can't go and you just are compelled to make a donation, also do that. All of those dollars go to help the bottom line of what we're trying to do and help those grants and be able to change a life of a child, to give them an innovative opportunity that they may not have had.
That's right. Well, thank you for coming on the show again. We love to have you on the show every year around this time. Thank you again, Carlos.
Great. Thanks, Karen.
We want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Okay.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we have a different topic. We are going to talk about Scholastic Bowl. It's a Virginia High School League activity. And today we have Tom Martin, the head coach at Granby High School, and one of his student Scholastic Bowl members, Ishan, say your last name, Pereira. Now you're ready to go, okay? So, Coach, talk about Scholastic Bowl. What is it?
Well, it's a competition between schools in a completely different arena. Rather than being on a basketball court or being on a football field, this is just an arena where 4 of your best players and 4 of our best players just put their wits together, put their minds together, and try to answer questions that are being thrown at them.
Now, I mean, Scholastic Bowl has been around for a number of years, and I'm not sure how long ago, but it used to be televised right here at Channel 47, and that was kind of unique. And now all the matches are at the home schools. So tell us a little bit, how is it contested?
Well, one of my jobs becomes, since we don't do it in the studio, one of my jobs becomes rounding up people within the Granby community, teachers who are going to serve as the readers, the timers, the judges, And I have a group of 7 or 8 people that we flip-flop in and out with that. So that takes care of itself. But during a regular match, it consists of 3 rounds. First and third round are the same. They're toss-up questions. So when the reader reads the question, Ishan or any of the other players gets to buzz in, and it's a lockout buzzer system. So the moment that he would answer or buzz in, all the other players on our team, all the players on their team are automatically locked out until he gives his answer.
Okay.
If he's right, we're awarded 10 points. If he's wrong, the other team gets an opportunity to answer the same question. Round 2, they're divided into A questions and B questions. So whoever has the lowest score at the end of the first round gets to choose whether they want the A's or the B's. And then it just flips back and forth between the 2 teams. We would get an A question. If we answered correctly, they get a B question, and so on.
All right, so Ishan,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been a member of the team?
This is my second year going
So
into.
are you a sophomore at Granby High
I'm
School?
a senior at Granby.
Oh, senior at
Yes,
Granby
sir.
High School, okay. So what's it like to be on the Scholastic Bowl team?
Last year it was a little bit of a intimidating concept to me, I guess. It's more of Jeopardy, but scaled to 10 times the intensity. Questions are a lot longer. Questions are a lot harder, and a lot more obscure than something you normally see. So to me, it's more of a learning situation rather than just the sport itself.
So why do you like being on the team?
It's an eye-opening event, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you, Coach, choose members to participate for the Granby Scholastic Bowl team?
Well, we typically have eye contact the other teachers at school right at the beginning of the school year and ask them to be on the lookout for prospective players. And of course, I think one of the biggest sources for new players are the ones that are currently playing. They'll say, there's so-and-so is in my science class or so-and-so is in my math class, and I think they could be a good addition to the team. So we typically don't do any hardcore recruiting. It's almost as if it's self-recruiting. They come out for the team, they hear about the team, they want to be a part of the team.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have a match. Talk about strategy from your standpoint, and then talk about preparation.
Sure. Yeah.
Strategy during a match, I can't say there is a whole lot.
There is
when
a
you
score, so
oh,
you're
right.
trying to win.
Yes.
You're exactly right. A lot of the strategic issues come during when someone like Ishan just joins the team. It's not just a simple matter of pushing the buzzer.
Yeah.
If you buzz in before the question is completed and you get it wrong, it's a -5. And then we instruct them that if the other team was the one who got the question incorrect, then we always instruct them, he should be able to tell you this, and I know he can, that you wait until the entire question is read then, because Ishan already said that questions tend to be real long, very obscure information at the beginning, and then when he hears or anybody hears for 10 points, then they know that's the last sentence, so they know they're really on their buzzer and ready to go.
All right, so talk a little bit about preparation. I mean, you
Sure.
have a match coming up.
Sure, yeah.
How do you get ready? How do you get ready for the questions?
Okay, sure. So, like Mr. Martin could tell you, he has a book full of possible questions that they could ask, just tidbits of information, like an encyclopedia almost. You really can't prepare for what kind of questions will be asked of you at a competition. You can honestly just the practices, Mr. Martin will give us questions, or just if you go home, go to some trivia on the internet, maybe you could find some sort of preparing.
Tell the audience,
Sure.
what's a typical question? I know you focus on math, science, but it could be sport, it could be...
It's everything, yeah.
Okay.
It goes into art, music, anything of that nature, really. First, in the beginning, you'll have maybe, say we were talking about some kind of bacteria. They would give you the long scientific name, maybe the phylum, like the class it belongs to, what kind of symptoms it carries, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, it'll say, also known as the common cold, or something like that. And
Okay.
that's the kind of the tidbit of information you have to wait for at the very end.
All right. So, Coach, talk about You know, the schedule itself, there's a district competition, then you move to conference, region, and state. So how is that typical, is like an athletic schedule?
It's the same as an athletic schedule. We typically play the 7 district teams, excuse me, and then if you're fortunate enough to be in one of the top 4 places, you're going to move on to, or 2 places I should say, you move on to conference play. And they've shifted the conferences around last year and then again this year.
Right, you're in a new conference.
We're in a brand new conference. And unfortunately, we will not be playing as many conference teams this year.
Right.
There will only be 4. So our season will consist only of 11 matches. I've already talked to them about the possibility of creating some kind of invitational where it'll be the first Granby Invitational because we have, I don't know any other thing to call, we have about a month and a half of dead time between our last district match and when conference begins.
That's a good question. How long is the season? When does it start? When is that conference tournament? When is that regional tournament? And then when is the state?
Well, the season officially starts in October and it runs all the way through first week of January. So when they come back after break, that's if you've made it that far, if you've made it into regional play or state play, that's when you're going to be playing.
Okay. All right, so one last question. How does the public, like a basketball game, how can they come out and watch? And do they come out?
We typically, we have family members who come out quite a bit. As far as the general public, we've never really had that much of a turnout. We'd like to make it more public. It's just a matter of where's your audience going to come from?
Right.
You know, so I don't know how many people would come to watch this. Having coached football, having coached track, to me this is every bit as exciting when you're in a match and there's times running out in the last round and there's only a 10-point difference between you and the other team.
Sure.
It's just as much of a nail biter with this as it is with another sport. So we'd like to see more people.
Okay. Ishan, what can we expect from Granby High School this year?
We're putting together a pretty great team this year, so I think you could see a pretty good turnout this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming down here. A lot of good information. First time we've had Scholastic Bowl on, so we hope people will check out the Big Team's website and
Yes, please.
find out when you guys are participating against the district and some of your conference opponents coming up. So we appreciate you being here.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With me now is Renee Parker, Senior Coordinator for Security Services here at Norfolk Public Schools. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you, Karen.
Well, you got a pretty smile on your face and you have a reason to be happy. The governor recently awarded $6 million in school security equipment grants for across Virginia, and we received $62,000 of that money. That's a good chunk of money.
It is.
So what are we going to do with the grant money? Specifically, what is this grant and how are we going to secure those funds?
Well, the grant is for school security equipment, and the purpose for us applying is to support our elementary schools. As you know, our elementary schools do not have school security officers or SROs in the building. So we wanted to look at ways to make our elementary schools safer.
So what are some of the things we're going to do to make them safer?
Well, in our elementary schools that have mobile units, we will be using the electronic access control so that the students and teachers will be able to go back and forth from the mobile units to the main buildings with control as to who can come in and who can't, to keep any intruder out of the building.
Now, do all of our schools have like the push button that you can say something and they buzz them in?
All of our schools do have that, but these mechanisms will go on the back doors, not the front door of the building. The mechanism that you're speaking of is strictly at the front door of every school building.
Okay, and so how many schools in our district are going to be receiving this grant money to do security?
20 of our schools, 19 elementary and 1 middle school, will be receiving funds from this grant.
Now, I know this is a tough question, but how are the funds going to be divided between those schools?
Well, we've already gone out and done an assessment to see which schools have the mobile units and which schools are in the most vulnerable community locations that would have possibly people wandering onto the school campus. So those are the schools that we've looked at, and then from that we look at how many doors they have that would make the building accessible, and then we use the devices in that manner.
Can you give me an example of one of the schools and what they're going to use the grant money for?
Well, let me give you an example of a school that already has been awarded the grant, and we kind of use this school as a pilot, and that is Oceanair Elementary. We used that as a pilot last year when we applied for the grant, and they now have the access control on the doors from their mobile units, and the principal is just excited because this allows him to be able to set it at a certain time of the day when he knows that the students will be going back and forth and staff, and then once that time limit is over, then he changes the type of access that you would have for those doors. He also was able to get additional cameras. They have the before and after school program there, and as you know now when we get up it's dark, so we were able to put a camera outside so they could see who was coming into the building early in the morning before everybody else would get there. So those are the types of things that we're trying to do, as well as expand our communication abilities with our elementary schools.
And just real quick, how did we pick these particular schools to get the grants, these 20 schools?
Well, we are given specific details from the grant. They have to be schools that will not have any remodeling or will not be closed within the next 5 years. So there were some schools that, of course, you would think would be the obvious schools to get those things, but because those schools are being torn down and they're slated to be rebuilt, they were not allowed to participate. It also depends on when the school was built. If the school was built in a certain year, then they get more points for being able to receive the award. There are some schools that the state will not allow us to award, even though we may put them in the grant. And if there are newer schools that have been built, then we're not able to do the things that we want to. But we still put them in there, hoping that, you know, they might get through. Sometimes they do, but in the last couple of years, they have cut a couple of our schools.
So with this new grant, or with some of these new schools, will that technology or opportunity already be a part of the school plan?
That will already be a part of the plan. So as the schools are newer, for example, you look at the new IP system cameras, and our older elementary schools still have your basic camera system with the DVR that we have to record things and go back and pick up. But with the new ones, we just go online and we put in an IP address and you pull up the picture and you can see whatever you need to see. And you can record it in a library, and it just makes things a lot quicker and a lot safer.
Right. So why do you think the state set aside these funds for these school districts to do this?
This grant was a result of Sandy Hook and the devastation that happened in our country when the elementary school was attacked on that morning. They had done all of the safety things that we normally do, but there were some vulnerabilities that were found during that time. So as a result of that act, then the governor decided that we needed to take a stronger look at our schools and how we need to make those schools safe. And it's a no-brainer that some of our schools are very old and our districts don't have the money to just spend money on security equipment. I mean, if you've got a choice between equipment and books and teachers, you're going to spend your money on books and teachers. So the governor decided that he needed to add that extra money so that we could get those things that we needed.
So why do you think it was important for us to secure these grants for these 20 schools?
Because this district has a lot of older schools, and so we needed to make sure that our schools were as safe as they could possibly be. We can't prevent everything, but we can put in some safeguards. And for me, the elementary schools not having security and not having an SRO and needing to call out to the community police to get assistance, there were some things that we could put there to try and give them an additional security measure.
Another option I'm wondering is the walkie-talkies and the communications. Are those the schools will receive?
The schools did receive walkie-talkies because, as again, we have mobile units and they are outside of the normal school. Or if our students are out on the playground, the walkie-talkies allow the people in the building to be able to communicate with those persons that are outside, as well as those persons outside to be able to communicate with the people in the building. So if something happens and they need all the students in, that gives them more of an ability to be able to communicate with people when you're not able to hear the PA system.
Right. So is there future grant opportunities to improve security that you're looking at or you're thinking we could try and apply for?
Always searching for grant opportunities. When they come along, sometimes people send them to us. We apply, and we just hope that our application is one that the grant reviewer is passionate about and will give us the opportunity to utilize the funds to make our schools safer.
Well, this is awesome. I'm glad you came on the show to share this information because maybe some of the parents don't know. And so hopefully they'll watch the show and be happy that their school is getting more equipment to keep safe and secure that area there. So thank you, Renee, for coming on the show.
You're welcome. I'm always happy to come and tell good things about security.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
welcome.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.